Saxon Algebra 1/2. Caleb, greetings. This is the review for the final. Yay, we made it. We're almost done, and if all things go well, this will be your last video of the year. I mean, who knows what'll happen next year, but for this year, we'll be done. All right, what I'm gonna do is I'm going to give you a quick reminder of what the test will look like and how the logistics will work. This is the same final that you would have gotten if we were meeting in, face-to-face class, so nothing's changed because of COVID. The process has to change, but it will be exactly like what we did for the last midterm when I brought it to your house. I'll get to all of that. First, let me just tell you about the test itself. 10 questions, 5 points each. To earn full credit, you have to show me all formulas, equations, and calculations. Equations. And sometimes students ask about, this is so important that I write this on your test each and every time because I want to make sure every student understands that in order to get the full 5 points, you can't just give me the right answer. You have to show me how you got the right answer. Some students will ask me, well, how do I know how much to show you? Like, do I need to write down 8 times 5 equals 40? No. The rule of thumb I always give them is show me what I show you. So think about how I present the material in class, how I work the problems, and use the same level of detail that I use. I don't write down 8 times 5 equals 40, but I show other things. So if you're at all questioning whether you should write it down or not, number one, just yes, show it. But number two, think about what I'm doing. And that's the gift of the videos, is you can go back and look if you're not clear or if you want a reminder. Okay, so this is the basic form of the test. Like I said, it'll look just like the ones we've taken in the past. You've already taken 2 tests with me. I want you to take your test at your regular time. Which for you was what? 12:30, 12:45-ish. That's fine. The test will arrive at your house around noon. Okay? So you can take it anytime. Let's say make sure you take it by 1. Okay? So I want you to start it by 1. You can start it earlier if you want. But I don't want you to start it any later than 1 p.m. because I will pick it up around 2 p.m. Okay, so I want you to have plenty of time. If you need more time, call me or message me. Or have your mom do it. But reach out to me and let me know you need more time. I can give it to you, but we just have to work it out. Okay, and the reason, and then of course, if you have any questions while you're taking the test, call or message, right? Whatever you're comfortable with. I'm going to be standing by my phone. That's why I pay strict attention to the time the different students are taking tests, is because I am sitting at my dining room table working the test too, doing nothing else but waiting for you to call me if you have questions, right? I'm not going to go to the grocery store or go prune trees in my backyard, which is what I'd really like to be doing, but that's a different topic. But I'm going to sit around and wait in case you reach out to me. So that's why I want to make sure we're on the same schedule. Okay, so if you need more time, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. And another reason that I want this time thing to be tight is I will grade and get your score to you before dinner is my goal. And I don't know what time you eat dinner. I eat kind of late. But in any case, that's why I'm keeping this timeline tight. It's because I want to be able to get right back to you about your score. Now, I know this is something you already know. If the score is less than 80%, we may do some additional work. And what I generally tell students is, if their score is around 80 and they're just losing, a point or two here, a point or two there, they're just having a bad day, that's one thing. What I'm more concerned with are situations where students are blanking on certain problems. They're just like getting a 0 or a 1. They just don't remember how to do that kind of problem at all. That's where I really like to go back and have my students do some additional work, because I don't want to leave anyone at the end of the year with the feeling of, oh, I really suck at that kind of problem. No, I don't want that feeling to linger over the summer, because when we come back in the fall, there's just going to be a negativity, right? Just a weightiness, a sense of failure that is going to drift along, and that's not helpful. So I want every student to complete their year on a positive note. They don't have to be perfect, but I want them to know, yeah, I can take a good shot at any one of these problems, and on a good day, I'll get it 100% right. That's the feeling I want you to carry with you into the summer. So if that means we have to do a little additional work, that's fine. We'll do a little additional work, but it's so that we end the year on a positive, strong note of success. That's what I'm going for. Okay, 2 additional items besides the test. For you to give to me. Okay, so when you set your packet out on the front porch, I'm going to make sure that you have 2 additional items inside of it. I'll remind you of this in my instructions, but one, I want you to take that assignment checklist that I gave you way back at the beginning of the year. I think I've got yours handy. This is the Algebra 2. Let me see, maybe yours is over here. I can't put my finger on yours quickly, but that's okay. Here's the Algebra. Oh no, this is yours. This sucker, right? I don't have my parents sign. I'm in a different situation, but your parent's supposed to be signing off on all of these, right? These are all your review scores. I want you to turn this into me completely signed, everything checked off. I'll give it back to you in the end, but I want to see that your parent has signed all of that. If you have fallen behind a little bit in your parent signatures, I understand that, but make sure you give your mom or dad or whoever's going to sign this thing, give them enough time, because it's going to take a while for them to go through and check all those lessons. So be thoughtful about that, but I want you to give this back to me with everything signed off. And then the other thing is I'm going to give you a few more review problems. All right, we haven't done any in a while. So I'm going to give you, let's see, I think the last we did were right here. So looks like we've got 5 weeks of review problems that we need to fill in. So I will give you another page. It's kind of like another test again, isn't it? It's a lot of review problems, but we'll be fine. So you'll return these 2 things to me as well as your test. Okay, I think that handles everything I want to say about the logistics of the test and the composition of the test. So now let's get into what will be on the test, right? So what I'm going to do is just go through the lessons backwards from the most recent. Remember, hashtag used to mean number, so that's how I'm using it here. We'll start at 120 and we'll work backwards. This is a description of that topic. And then over here, I'll write yes or no, meaning will it be on the test? Should you study it? Okay. Lesson 120 is about volumes of cones, pyramids, and spheres. I'm going to abbreviate that as shapes. Okay? I'm going to tell you right now, no, that's not going to be on the test. It's valuable, but we're going to pick it up again in Algebra 1 and again in Algebra 2. You'll have multiple times to look at it. It is, for most students, it takes a little while for this idea to fit nicely into their brain, the way their brain organizes their math ideas. I don't want to end the year on that note. No bueno. So I'm going to tell you right now, we're not going to do it. 119 and 118 are about volume conversions. Okay? They're similar enough that I consider them as one unit, and I would say, yes, you can expect a problem, but not two problems. One of them, let's see, the first one is English, and the second one is metric, right? This is yards, inches, feet, and this is centimeters, meters. And this is the tricky thing where 1 cubic centimeter equals 1 milliliter, so you can go back and forth. That's a lot. That one's kind of hard. I'll probably pick a relatively straightforward one from there. But only one problem for those. 117, Pythagorean Theorem. Yes. I want you to feel smart. None of the weird stuff with the wonky pictures, just finding the missing side. 116, areas of parallelograms and trapezoids. I'm not going to write those words out. We'll be here all day. Yeah, I think so. Those are super easy because all you have to do is draw the diagonal and find the two squares. You don't have to use the formula. And I will not ask you one of those annoying questions where they have you find the area with letters. No, 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 no. I would not do that to you. I will choose, like the practice problems. If you look at 116, which is the one this comes from, and you look at the practice of 116, you'll see they're nice, straightforward problems. I will choose one just like that. 115, polygons, congruence, transformation. No. It's important, but it's more useful when we're doing it in the context of a calculation. I'm not going to just test you on theory. Probability, 114. Probability, yes. I will choose one of those. I like these problems because they itch a different part of your brain. They scratch a different part. I like that. 113. Oh my gosh. This is the scales. This is the one where we were looking at pictures of rulers all the time. No, that annoys me. Sorry. I'm very opinionated today. Probability part 1 is 112. And what I would say to you is I would choose one problem. Okay, so it could be from 112 or it could be from 114. I won't choose both. 111. Oh boy, this is where we get into this business section, right? We have commission and profit, and we have markup and markdown, and we have simple interest and compound interest. Let me just write them all down. 110 and 109. Okay, 109 is the interest. 110 is the markup and markdown. $111 is the commission and profit. I don't get real excited about these. So I'm gonna say for all of them, it's a hard maybe. At most, I would have one question from all three of these. I want to get to some algebra. Fractional percents, Roman numerals. I'm digging here. Negative bases. Caleb, where is the algebra? Come on now. Okay, 103. I'm just going to skip those. I'm not even going to write them down. I'm just going to say no to all of those in there. 103 is distributive property. That's a hard yes. This is 108 down to 104. Just skip those. 102, adding like terms. That's a hard yes. 101, multiplying exponents. I've lost my lines. I'm not writing on them anymore. Multiplying exponents. That's a hard yes. Let's see how many yeses we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh my gosh. Oh, here's a good one, 100. Ratio problems. These are advanced ratio problems. That's a yes. They're advanced because you need to have a total line in the box. Remember that John doesn't test those the same way that I do. Or he doesn't set them up the same way I do. So make sure that you look at the video on that if you need a review. 99. Exponents and sign numbers. Yes. Remember the hashtag stands for the word number. Sign numbers, this is a yes. Okay, just a couple more and we'll be done. Here's what I wanted. 97 and 96. Okay. 96 is multiple term equations. That's a hard yes. Count on that. And 97 is two-step problems. That's a hard yes. 98 is, oh, this is about angles, complementary and supplementary angles. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, that's 12 yeses, maybe on this chunk. I skipped a big chunk because, here's the thing. I will tell you this. John assumes, like a good textbook editor should, that a lot of students are not going to actually complete the text. A lot of people fade out somewhere around lesson 11. So what he does is he loads these lessons coming up to 100 with some really strong, important topics. And then he goes here into either giving you advanced work on some new ideas or some kind of oddball things, like Roman numerals was in this section. Roman numerals are just like a little curiosity. They're not important in the long run for doing algebra because you can't really calculate with them. So I'm interested in these topics that are super important for going forward and the topics that we saw up here, which are topics we'll see again that we're going to build on, and we're just giving kind of a early warning on these. So make sure you're really strong on these. These are the good ones right here. Super strong. This is where the bulk, I can pretty much guarantee you that all of these will be on the test. Okay, going right to here. Okay, these ones are super strong lessons that I really want to reinforce in your brain. Okay, so how are you going to study for this? The first thing I want you to do is identify your weak areas. you already know probably what you're good at. Those are the problems that when you do them in your homework, you're like, okay, cool, I got this. You can always tell what your weak areas are because they're the ones when you get to them in the homework, you go, oh, I hate these problems, right? You hate them probably because, well, all of us, we hate the problems that we are less confident about, so therefore are weaker areas. Everyone's got weaker areas. There's no shame in that. Nobody's perfect. Nobody knows it all. So I really want you to focus in on those, either by what you hate. The weak ones are the ones that you hate to do, or the other way you can find out is by working examples in the book. Just flip through these lessons that I've said you should do and work the examples. Remember, the examples are the problems that are in the front part of that lesson, the ones that I do in class. What's important about the examples is that they are the problems that have the most thorough explanation of what to do that John provides compared to any other problem in the book, compared to the practice or the problem set. Even the solutions manual explanations aren't as good as the ones in the examples. So if you're not sure about any content area, go back and work the problems. You can also go back and look at the videos because they're all there. That is one really nice thing about this alternative presentation style we've been working with, is you've got it all on record and you can go back to it anytime you want. Okay, so do more problems. When you identify your weak area, do more problems, and the best source to get more problems are the even numbered, right? Because we've been skipping those all along, so you can go back and work those. And this is a little bit harder for you because it's just you in this class by yourself this year. But what's really fun is ask someone else to make a little practice test for you. It can be shorter than 10 items, even if somebody just picks 3 or 5 problems and says, try working these. That is a really fun way to give yourself that sense of problems coming out of nowhere. I have no idea what to expect. That's really the hardest part of a test, is that you have no idea what to expect. I mean, other than the fact that I give you a lot of information. And the question... So what I'm saying is it's fun to make practice tests. And I realize that's harder for you. If you had another student in class with you, I'd suggest you swap. But since you don't, Abby might be a really good source for you. I mean, she's a nice big sister, isn't she? She would like look through your homework and find a couple problems for you. So you could ask her to do that. My best... Sorry, I can't write and talk at the same time. My best advice for all my students is to ask yourself this question with any kind of problem, especially the ones that are messing you up. What is the first step? If you can remember the first step of a problem, then you are likely, that's the giant leap you need to make, right? Because once you take that first step, you can usually be like, oh yeah, right, and then that, and then that, and then that. In my teaching, I try to emphasize how to know what the first step is. If that's not clear to you, feel free to ask me. What is the first step is a super important part of being able to attack any problem. So that is the question I want you to think about when you are studying. All right, Caleb, that's enough from me. Holler if you have questions. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing how you do on the final. I'm sure you're going to kill it. Okay, bye.